Speak of the devil. I was just talking about my other review in Magi. If you guys watch that what the fuck? I'm like, where's Sinbad no Boken? Here it is. 62 and 63. So I'm gonna start with 62. Of course, I really like this chapter. I really like it. I like that little skit in the beginning about the whole back thing, snapping his back, and that's why I had to take a break this week. I thought that was pretty funny. Um, but yeah. Anyway, um, the whole thing with Madar, um, as we know, does not. I mean, we know obviously both parties survive this. We know that. Why? Because in the main series, they're both alive. Obviously, we know how Madar gets her ass wrecked, but we'll see what happens here. So it's interesting to see these two actually meet because we don't know how it's going to turn out, though likely because at the beginning of this arc, quote unquote arc, it was said that there's something going to be going horribly wrong for Sindria. Um, so we'll see what happens in that regard. But um, when it comes to, um, let's see, when it comes to the actual negotiations, I thought that was good because initially, uh, she was setting some sort of trap for him, like where if he wins, the debt's forgiven, but if he loses, he's a slave. But he's able to manipulate it into more or less like, well, no, if I win or if I participate, you have to do that. But if I lose, the same regardless. Which does sort of make more sense because he's using like he's manipulating the situation to his advantage, where the company survives regardless of what happens to Sinbad. Um, Even though Sinbad is the company, at the same time, they can survive without him as long as their debt's forgiven. And so, with that being said, it was really good there. And then, of course, everything at the end, which was very interesting. Uh, and we really started to see that Sinbad is starting to get cocky, like really cocky. He's starting to take that whole "I'm the man who is loved by fate" like very very lightly, and the face that he makes at the very end is like wow, because he's just like my future doesn't even need you. It's like I'm the man who's just gonna get loved by fate. Um, that's such a self-aware like Gary Stu thing. Like I've never seen anything like it. Um, but it's pulled off so well. I love it. So I mean, there's not much to talk about here other than what I just did. This was a really good chapter, but I mean, I feel like in the Sinbad no Boken and Magi chapters, there's usually not a ton to talk about because there's a lot of like the content is heavy, but it's condensed into like two or three points, whereas sometimes another chapter can from another manga can get a lot more discussion because there's a lot that happens, like different things. But I think the way that it's written, the way that Magi and Sinbad no Boken are written, are more or less like um, just a few points that are a little bit more plot heavy instead. Both work, but I feel like in terms of review, it's a little bit harder to review this type of chapter and make it longer. That's just my opinion. I don't know if there's really anything else to talk about. I mean, it was interesting in the beginning because everybody was against him because he had just come barging in and talking about how she swindled the company, but you can't prove it. At the same time, she would refuse to show her documents, but everybody in that building was already on her side because we know from the main series that she is a master manipulator of people. So, yeah, I mean, that's it. Thank you all for listening, and it's time for 63. Okay, so now we have 263, 63. And this chapter was also very good for a different reason, and this reason was simply for comedic purposes and just interesting stuff from Sinbad. So he did in fact go back and tell everybody like they were free, and obviously they were happy since you read the chapter. You already know this shit. But of course, the main thing to focus on here is the fact that uh, Sinbad was trolling the shit out of Sarah and DNA, which is just too good because she's such a friggin' hard ass tsundere that just can never admit like anything for Sinbad, whether even if it's like I like him a little bit, like can't admit anything. So he trolled the shit out of her, and it's always hilarious when he trolls a girl, where he punched the wall like violently behind her, that made her like cringe, and she's like, "Are you jealous? You fucking jealous? You jealous, bitch? Because you can have some of me too." Because there's a lot of people that'll get some from him. That's for sure. He got like the freaking he got the leader of Artemira, like the matriarch. Okay, I think like you can't get much better than that, except like um Yamraiha in the future and Hakue in the future. Uh, that's like the only thing better that you can get from getting like a freaking matriarch of a women's only country. Um, but I don't think he does anything with Yamraiha. And he certainly doesn't do anything with Hakue because I don't know if they've ever met. But yeah, anyway, so the whole trolling thing, of course, and like after she was just so flustered and it's like I dot 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 and then she's crying apparently. Like what? That was a quick turn. Um so as we know Jafar is coming along. Uh, I can't help it because Sinbad is voiced by Daisuke Ono and I can't help but do pronounce it the way he does because Daisuke Ono is the shit. Jafar. I don't know. Bararak Saika. I get too hyped when it comes to Daisuke Ono and Sinbad, and put them together, it's too good. I know this is the manga, not the anime, so uh, they need to do an anime of this. By the way, I know they did like a little bit, but they need to do more with Daisuke Ono, of course. So, um, see how I trail off there. There's not much else to talk about, um, just simply because they get to the place, and that's kind of it. Um, the beginning was kind of funny because Vital was just like, I didn't fuck up the company, yay! And then Hinaho friggin' punches him. Like, show some regret. Like, seriously, you almost got them into some deep shit there. Thanks to Sinbad, you're not. But, I mean, really though, you could be even deeper shit if Sinbad loses, which he's not going to lose. Um, I don't think he's going to lose at least. Unless he's able to find a loophole in a slavery system or whatever, I don't know. But I mean, we know Madar is not gonna get killed, um, and we know Sinbad's not gonna get killed. Um, it would be kind of funny if he gets some, if he gets some of that Madar puh. I don't know. If he does, that would be just too funny, especially since we know what happens later on in the series to her. Um, it would just be funny if that happened, because you would never expect it. They're like two people that have never crossed in the main series, and for this to be happening is like just so out of left field. Um, but yeah, that's it. The two chapters were really good. I really enjoy the side series. I just wish it would be more frequent, um, especially with the translating, especially the main series too. Like, I'm pretty sure it's the same people because The main series and Sinbad and Nabokin seem to translate at the same time, so I don't know what they're doing, but I do kind of wish it would be a little bit faster. I know I can't complain because I'm reading for free, but I do plan to buy it eventually. Um, yeah. So thanks for listening. The chapter ratings were great together, especially like the dual chapter was really good. Um, Works well in conjunction. There was a lot of good mix of comedy and badassery. So yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys whenever the next bunch of chapters get translated.